friend today, and it is today a little bit about the topic of how did we become a medical company, and how do we make sure that things work by introducing new technologies that are maybe unusual in some certain fields and new to the field of physiotherapy, basically.
My name is Walter. Well, I'm the guy who had a stroke, so sorry for my English, and there was some damage also in my brain, maybe whatever. I had a stroke 11 years ago. I couldn't talk, I couldn't speak, I couldn't walk. Everything was knocked out, and I had a good physiotherapy, and I was half a year in the hospital, and so it took a while to walk out of the hospital, and the therapist and doctor told me, so you are fine now. And I never felt that I'm fine now. So 7 years after, my physiotherapist told me, well, honestly, I have to pay you to some strange guys. They developed some device where you can fly. And I told him, are you crazy? I cannot fly. So he went with me to ICARUS, and they put me on the device. And
before you take all my jokes away, I ripped the microphone from your hands. Thank you very much. Because the thing is, we don't test this. We don't have any test drives on this. We do this just on the fly, talking together to an audience we don't know. So. Just a little bit of an input about what ICARUS is doing, basically. No problem, easy, because you just made the audience hot for it. That's good. In therapy, motivation is key. I have a more negative expression for that. Therapy that doesn't motivate doesn't work. This is what we believe very strongly. And I've been in therapy. Walter knows what's going on there. And I've had some encounters also with other people who have to work out much more than ever before in their entire life. ICARUS basically started with creating gamification mechanics in unity with developing devices that allowed us to do to support body motion that is absolutely unusual. And we use what you guys use. We use tablets, we use displays, and we use virtual reality. So we don't consider ourselves a virtual reality company. We call ourselves a mixed reality company because we use everything that's useful in our point of view. We create our software, we create our hardware. We had a strong creation team, and it became even stronger when Walter entered. And we believe in the gamification because it brings so much direct impact and makes people really take part in their own results immediately, which is really important. We had a lot of key supporters that we did not believe that they could ever support us the way they did. And it's really a piece of chocolate for us. And it was customers, patients, governmental funding, press, regulatory body. We love them. They're good. They really helped us to get better. So don't be afraid of them. And we love conferences where we can meet people like this. And this is not the first conference we were at. One of the first conferences where we talk, but basically we attended, and these are all very important segments when you want to implement innovation in a field that's already running and would run without you. So you have to get into the market, and you have to address things that you believe are missing, and it's really important that you use all input that you can get. So what we did, we created collaborators out of our customers. This is how we came to neurotherapy. We didn't do it ourselves. Australian guys bought our product and they worked with it, and they had an article in press that just took a year till it reached the other half of the planet, and it said, can flying make you walk again? And it was like in breakfast news on television in Sydney. And then those guys addressed us and said, hey, can you make this? Can you do this? Can you alter this on your device? We would need this and that. We had no idea what was necessary in neurotherapy. So this was really helpful for us, and it really put us on track. So we thought, let's make customers collaborators. We also connected with patients, of course, and press helped us a lot with that, because patients addressed us. They came to us and said, just like Walter, hey, can I try this? And that made us smarter. The way we connected with patients is very different from how basic open innovation would regard or recommend this for many industries right now. I do know a little bit about it, and I can only tell you that open innovation or co-creation can be just a fig leaf if you don't do it right. It's just to make a green hook on something, to say, I do co-create, so I'm sure I'm right. It's about the intensity in which you do it. And you can compare it if you want to get somewhere. You take out the old paper map and you look at where you want to go, and you take a look and you say, this is where I want to go. So, example, you ask your patient, hey, what do you want? And then you have this little quality questionnaire with you, and you write it down, and then you leave the patient in the patient's bed, and you go and say, thank you, I have all I need, and you go back into your, let's say, laboratory, and that's when co-creation is not working. You have to co-create if you really want to do it on a daily basis, and every micro decision that you have to make during any kind of development process in software, hardware, ergonomics, how things work, by having those people around you all day long. It will not work otherwise. I have a ton of examples later on if you want that I can explain to you how co-creation can fail if you do not do this intensively enough. So this is now Walter's story. This is a little video. I have sound, but it's badly filmed from my smartphone because I was super excited, and I came back from the kitchen with 2 coffees, and Walter just did his first flight without me seeing it, so I asked him about it, and now I give Walter the mic because he really knows what it was for him. It was in the year 2020 when COVID had really struck in summer. I think it was July, I think end of July, and it was a sunny day.
It was a sunny day, and it was amazing. I thought I'm in heaven, you know. You cannot imagine when you can see me, you can see my right side, but when they put me on the device and they put me on the VR goggles I was flying the wingsuit down to the from the mountains. So I was free. Everything was light. Everything was it was more or less heaven. And I lost completely my spastic on the right side when I was flying. So I've known I don't go away from this cast, and I have known it will change my life. So for this reason why I'm staying here, and we did also some tests. And before I started to fly, it's called the Darm test. It's very, very difficult to sit down on a chair, stand up, go 3 meters away from the chair, turn around, sit down again. It took me before I started to fly, it took me 14 seconds, and after flying a couple of times, it took me now 6.8 seconds, so more or less. Avoid.
Ripping the mic again from Walter. Yeah, many therapists told us, wow, he was at 14 seconds when he started with you guys. That is fantastic. But you don't think it was fantastic for you, did you?
Well, the question is, it's all about quality. The quality is not good enough. So the doctors are telling me now, I'm in a fantastic position. I'm not. I still working hard to go back to my former life. So
Walter helped us to go from wood to different variations of support material that we entered and mounted on our devices. So it was a real co-development, and the result, not only in hardware but also in software, was really done closely, not only with Walter. We had more patients coming in. This is Walter sitting and laughing about the 7 seconds that he managed in the timed up and go test. And the other really interesting topic is patients are not patients. Patients are human beings, as we all know, and they all have a history. And Walter has a strong history of media. He's basically a CEO in media. He had a media company, so he knows all those film guys, and he brought them in. And so now we had press coverage during COVID, and other people who also suffered from stroke and who saw this story on television, they came in. And this makes things really interesting, because you would never get to know this, and Walter wouldn't open up that way if you wouldn't co-create in a friendship way on a daily basis. The same with the press. This is, by the way, the Australian article, Can Flying Machine Help You Walk Again, from 2016. And in the end, what it led to, it was that our software, which was a funded project from the ZIM in Germany, thank you very much for that one. It really helped us a lot, create Next, which is neuronal experience training. It's basically an interactive software that adapts to the capabilities of the patient in VR. So the patients are on the ICARUS and they fly through rings, and it becomes more and more difficult. We adapt the whole hardware along the process. It is all digitized, and also the results are very promising. And the most interesting thing is, if you see patient and works on it, like Sandra, for example, and she doesn't match her high score that she had maybe a few days ago, you will hear her swear like nobody ever before. So this is really fun, and then they pull themselves together and they put down a new high score. We also found out that the period of use during the whole process, which was really, really new for us, and all the details, we could pinpoint much better. And we do have customers who work with patients even in the early stage after a stroke, in the early stage of rehabilitation in phase B, C, and D. And Walter, being released from our medical system as healed person, did not stop. So we did all this stuff, we did all the measurements and so forth. We even had a tetraplegic person on it, and he did a good job. The only problem of him was that he needs a wheelchair, and he's living in Innsbruck, so it wasn't really good for us to have him with us on a daily basis. But if he would have lived next door, he would
probably... And he couldn't speak.
And he couldn't speak, but he did like this, he loved it. And we also do have a history of thinking beyond therapy, because we believe that therapy might be a good starting point to do sports again. And there's, 90% of the population in Germany doesn't do sports. It's only the 10%, and you guys, obviously, most of you are with this 10%. We need more engagement and longer engagement. So we created an online multiplayer a few years ago in 2018, and we did championships with it, with the goal of creating an inclusive sport. Inclusive means it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what gender you have, it doesn't matter if you had a stroke or if one of your limbs is missing, you do not do Paralympics. If you are a fast pilot and you're among the 12 best pilots, you will become part, if you want, of our yearly championship. And so far we did 6, the next one will be number 7 in December this year in England. And the topic with Walter was because he came on a daily basis working out on this huge machine which is called ICARUS Health. It's a block, it's 130 kilograms of steel and aluminum. And just 1 year, half a year before the World Championship, I said, Walter, you can become part of this. And he said to me, oh, no way, do you do Paralympics? I said, no, we don't, we do inclusive. And Walter said, okay, I'm with you guys. And then 6 weeks before, due to COVID, we had to decide to do this not on our huge ICARUS Pro or ICARUS Health devices, but on our ICARUS Home device, which you've seen an example standing in the next room. And Walter said, oh man, you fucked me, you know, this is not good. You know, I can fly on this, but this other machine is so sensitive, we will never be able to do this. I will not be able to do this. It took him 4 weeks, and he was competitive, and he wasn't the last. I think he was the 9th place on the first World Championship. And how many championships did you fly?
4.
4.
4.
4, all right.
I think 4.
Yeah, you're right, you're 4. So from patient to athlete, that's basically the story, means it doesn't end. If you had a stroke, you do not stop working out. Neuroplasticity takes time, and it's running. It's working. It's working. It's working. If you want, this is some impressions of the last championship last year. So this is Walter on stage, and this is audience. This was big. This was like, whoa! And when it was finished, there was boom, how do you say, fireworks and so forth. So this was a big thing. And yeah, so patient, tester, developer, athlete, shareholder, and most important, friend. This is how we engage with patients. Hopefully in the future, Walter was the example, to set the example, and I can only recommend this to all of you. If you do new things, strongly engage with the people who are using it. It's the only way, in my point of view, to not go too wild until you hit the spot. And thank you very much.
So, absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, both of you, Walter, Michael. This is great. You already